Splash of the rain. Happy holidays. It's been a while. Took an unscheduled break. That's what I would call it. It's just like life getting in the way, things get in the way, work, home, everything got in the way of me being able to meet up with people to record or me being able to post new episodes. But I am still here. I am back, pretty much doing a end of season, end of year episode for you guys. I still do listen to your suggestions. I still, from time to time have conversations with different people about different things that you or anyone else may be experiencing. So we brainstorm a lot. So that's still being happening behind the scenes. However, we have a lot to look forward to in 2022. A lot of new episodes and guests and everything like that will be here for you guys. But again, happy holidays. And by the time most of you listen to this episode, 2022 may have already rolled on in. So I guess it would be safe to say Happy New Year. I trust that you all had a great 2021. For me, it's felt like a roller coaster, but I'm here. Can't put a good one down. And I hope you guys are still protecting your mental health and practicing self-care. Keep putting yourself first at all times, because in order to take care of others, we have to be able to be in a good place to do that. So putting yourself first, protecting your mental health, and practicing self-care is important. For myself, I've continued to create healthy boundaries for myself, right? So I've continued distancing myself from those who are not aligned with my growth, from disloyal and disrespectful people. And I encourage you guys to do the same for a peace of mind. And it may seem hard, and I guess in the beginning it may hurt a lot, because you're kind of letting go of relationships, right? Of people that you spend a lifetime with, people that you've grown up with as kids or as adults, and you're letting go of these relationships because they're not benefiting you in the long run. So that may hurt a lot, and you may think about if you're doing the right thing. But if you really want a peace of mind, and if people are being disloyal and disrespectful to you, I'll say let go of those people, those relationships. And as time goes by, it'll get easier. You'll soon realize that you made the best decision for you. And I saw something recently. Someone posted something about forgiveness, and really much had to do with forgiving people. The year is ending. We need to let go of things and that people have done to us and move on, and, stuff like that. And I said to myself after reading it, based on who posted it, I'm like, stop. Like, you and I know there are people in your life who's done you wrong, and you would never forgive them. So stop posting stuff because it looks cute or it might appease to the wrong audience. Stop posting it because you just found it somewhere and it sounds good. If you don't mean what you post what you mean. Like, just stop doing it already. I mean, for me, I know I spoke about forgiveness in one of my earlier episodes, and I told you guys that maybe it's something that I don't even understand. But there are people in my life that I'll never forgive, and I'm fine. I sleep well at night knowing that the people who intentionally did me wrong, I've cut them off. No, I'll never forgive them, and I'm good. I will tell you guys, I sleep well at night. They don't keep me up. My bills still get paid. I still eat well. But people would just post stuff sometimes. Like, if you don't mean it, don't post it. Don't post it because you think someone else might come on and read it and it sounds cute. Like, especially stuff about forgiveness. To me, that's deep. It's serious. And if for yourself, are not going to forgive people or not even thinking about it, like, stop out there telling people they should. I'm not going to tell anybody go ahead and forgive people who intentionally did them wrong, when I know for myself that I'm not going to do it. So anyway, moving right along. I guess some of you might hear that I'm a little bit nasal. I don't have COVID. I believe what I have is the flu or some common cold or something. And many of you didn't know that I did travel to New York about 2 weeks or so ago. And I'm just going to start off by apologizing for those of you who didn't know that I was there, because I had hoped to meet up with quite a few people, family, friends, whomever, on my trip, because this is something I've been planning for quite a while. But on my second day of being there, I got a sore throat, and then it just escalated from there. So with that, I was living with family and kids or that, so I didn't want to put them in jeopardy, put my sister's family in jeopardy, or other people in jeopardy. So I kind of laid low after the second day because I didn't know what it is. And then it just got worse from there. And after a point, I was just like, I'm ready to head back to Texas. Not that I don't love New York or anything, but what was crazy for me this time is being in New York during COVID. In the past few weeks, the cases has been increasing. So being in Brooklyn, having to get on a train, on the bus, that was crazier for me than I thought. And I am no stranger to riding the train or the bus, but I am a stranger to riding the train or the bus during COVID in Brooklyn in December. So, everything is closed up where people are, what tripped me off a lot is that a lot of people were not wearing masks. And those who were wearing a mask weren't wearing it properly. So just imagine being on a train or the bus. It's packed. People are coming on. It's under their nose, under their chin. They're coughing, they're talking, they're breathing. That was uncomfortable as hell for me. So after day 2 or so, I was just like, please let me just head back home to Texas. It was something that I was looking forward to a lot. I was so looking forward to meeting up with a lot of people. But for those of you who didn't know, yes, I was in New York for about 3.5 days, kind of shortened my trip. But I apologize that I didn't get to meet up with a lot of people. And that was because I got sick while I was there. And I did not know what it was at the time. I didn't want to infect anybody else with what I had. So I had to cut the trip short and head back to Texas. I have a friend who returned to the office, I think it was in June of this year. And she was telling me about how high her anxiety level was of having to return to the office, but being able to, for her having to ride the train and the bus. And I believed her at the time because, why would she lie about anxiety? But I didn't understand it. And not till I had to get on the train or the bus and think of, oh my gosh, this person's coming to sit next to me. His mask is under the chin, or it's not over his nose or something. So that freaked me out. I think that made my anxiety go up. There were times I was just like praying, please let me get off this bus. Like, for those of you who are in New York and Flatbush Junction, I literally stood there one evening for about 45 minutes to an hour waiting on a bus. Not that any buses didn't show up, is that each one that came was packed. And though, it wasn't raining, but it was a cold evening. It was like a week before Christmas. So people are rushing, want to get home to the stores or whatever. And I said to myself, I am not getting on this packed bus, because as I stood outside at the bus stop and I looked in on the bus, there was quite a few people who were in the bus wearing masks, but incorrectly. And I said to myself, there's no way in hell I'm getting on this bus. And then I had like a slight cough. My nose was running and everything. So I was like, there's no way I'm getting on the bus like that. First of all, I don't want people to look at me crazy. And then I don't want to get on and look at people crazy because they're not wearing their mask or anything. So I literally stood there and I let bus after bus pass me. And at one point, another bus showed up and I'm like, I need to get home. And I made up my mind, okay, Lorraine, this bus, you're getting on this bus. And it came, I pulled out the Metro card and I just couldn't do it. I just could not get on the bus. So I walked about a block over and I got in a taxi. But after that, I told myself mentally, I don't feel like I was ready for that trip. I didn't feel that I was ready to be on crowded buses and trains. So for those of you who are still experiencing some kind of anxiety or mental health issues, just being able to have to ride the train and the buses again, I totally empathize with you. And I know mental health is a thing that, I've spoken about before, and it's not something that we spoke a lot about until like 2 years or so ago. And I still find people who make a mockery of it. Like, people would say something like, hey, I'm doing this because I'm protecting my mental health. Like, I'm getting away from this situation or this environment. And, there's still some people out there be like, oh, really? Your mental health? Like making a fun of it. Like it's not a real thing. So it is real. I have experienced it. I'm still experiencing it. And I know there's people who are experiencing it. So, be mindful of the things that you say when you don't experience it yourself. I always say, like, there's things that I experience or other people experience, and the people who have not, they tend to pass judgment on it. But unless you walked in my shoes, I tell you to hold all those judgments. So enough of that. I've learned quite a lot about me or about people in the last year. I've learned that people still confuse me being assertive with aggression. And I have pretty much given up on trying to explain simple things like assertion and aggression to people, because it's never gonna be satisfying enough for them. I'm gonna continue to be the assertive person that I've always been. I just can't explain anymore to people, hey, don't mix aggression with assertion with aggression. It's kind of like mind-boggling at this point. So there's a few things that you did not know about me that you'll most likely learn today, right? Or maybe you already know that. I don't have kids. And yes, I love kids. I mean, some of you would know that. But please know that Lorraine's life is just fine without any. Like, there was a time in my life where I felt like I was ready to have kids, but I was not blessed with any. And when I felt I was ready, like I said, I was not blessed with any. But let it be known that I am fine. I live a very happy life, and I am not less of a woman because some of you were able to have kids and I don't. So I hope this clears up any kind of confusion for the people in the back. And if for some reason I may have left something out, please call me. Let's talk about it. Okay, moving on. Let's see what else I want to talk to you guys about. So something else that you didn't know about me, or you may have already known, because I believe I may have told some people that, right? I don't like talking about death or about people who die. And people have different ways of remembering their loved ones or who passed away, or they might post stuff about their birthdays, anniversaries, or even special moments, etc. And I respect that, right? That's how you want to deal with it. That's how you want to remember your loved ones. But because I may not like a post that you post about your uncle, your mom, your sister, your husband, your wife, about, their birthday or something, or because you don't see me post anything about my deceased parents on their birthday or anniversary or something, don't judge me. I just don't like talking or thinking about it. And that's just how I handle it, right? But I realize that a lot of people tend to judge me because they may post stuff about their loved ones and I don't respond to it, or because they don't see me post something about my mom or my dad who passed away. Like, that's just me. That's how I deal with death. I don't talk about it. I don't post about it. 99% of the time you post something about a deceased loved one, I will say nothing. It doesn't mean that I don't empathize or sympathize with you, or I don't understand your pain. It just means that I don't want to talk about it, see anything about it. That's just me. That's how I handle it, right? So if you didn't know that about me, you know that now. So if you happen to post something about a deceased loved one and you don't see me like your post or comment on it or whatever, don't judge me because of it. I understand your pain because I lost my parents. Cool? All right. Moving on. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of things that came across me in the last couple of months, and I feel like, okay, I wanted to address it before, but I'm just going to address it with you guys now. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to most of it. I had to explain to someone recently why I do not buy Christmas gifts for teenagers. Well, it's actually quite simple, right? Many of you may know my family, I have lots of nieces and nephews. I even have godchildren. And there were some, close friends, and so that I may buy gifts for their kids and stuff like that. So I had to explain to someone lately, like, when these kids reach a certain age, teenage years, I personally, Lorraine, I put a cutoff date on when I stop buying them presents, because I have a lot. Like, seriously, if you guys know my family history, I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So I, Lorraine, said, once you become a teenager, I am done buying you presents. And you may not agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. Frankly, I really don't care. but I just put a cutoff date at it. I mean, not that they would never get something from me again. Once that teenager, probably, at their high school graduation or college graduation or something like that, because everybody, I'm really big on kids, on education. So, I'll get them something. But once it's teenage years, you probably won't get another birthday present, or you're probably not going to get a Christmas gift from me. Right? And that's just me. That's Lorraine. You can go ahead and buy what you want, when you want, for your kids, your nieces, nephews, whomever, at whatever time you feel. I just got a cutoff date, and my cutoff is once you become a teenager. Again, so this is something that you did not know about me before, but you know it now. And moving on. Here's a good piece of advice, right? Which is something someone told me a few months ago, and I continue to live by that. Protect your peace and your self-care. Someone's reaction to boundaries that you set for yourself does not mean that your boundaries are wrong or they're incorrect. It's just that, their reaction. And over time, you will learn that we cannot please everyone. I've learned that. I think it's something that I continue to learn daily, that the things that we do in our life these days, we would not please everyone. As long as you're pleased with the decisions that you make daily, I think that's what counts. As long as you're not out there robbing and killing and, being disrespectful and untrue or disloyal to people, then you're good. This is how I live my life. So I think I'm good. I set healthy boundaries for myself that a lot of people don't understand. And at one point I started thinking, well, maybe I don't need to. But so this is what it is. A part of it that's I can relate to. I tried explaining to someone recently about these boundaries that I will create going forward, right? I felt the need to do it because of certain things that has happened. So I was like, these are the boundaries that I'm going to create for myself going forward. These boundaries will affect our relationship in this way. And the response that I got was, well, I don't understand. What is it you don't understand? My boundaries? Yeah. I don't understand why you're creating those boundaries. So what I realized in the end is that it's not that they didn't understand the boundaries, it's that they didn't think it was necessary for me to create them. And that's why I say to you guys, people's reaction to you protecting your peace will always only be that, just a reaction. Just keep it moving. Don't let something that you're trying to do for your peace of mind, don't let someone else's reaction try to stop you from doing that. It's not wrong, it's not incorrect, it's just their reaction. We have to live our life in a way that we put a stop to others trying to take advantage of our kindness. And some people may call me mean, continue to call me mean for speaking out or not being quiet to their hypocrisy, but ask me if I care. And another piece of advice, don't let your family ruin your family. Let me repeat that. Don't let your family ruin your family. You don't need to be a college grad to understand that. For those of you who are in relationships, continue to or start demanding the respect you deserve from your spouses, from your in-laws, from their friends, co-workers, or whomever, right? The people outside of your marriage or your relationships, if they're getting the same energy from your spouse that you deserve or is not getting, do yourself a favor and exit, right? And I've spoken about relationships a lot in a lot of my episodes because, again, I told you that when I started my podcast, I'm going to be talking about me. So a lot of it has to do with me or the people that I interact with daily. And disrespect in my marriage is something I don't tolerate, whether it comes from, friends, in-laws, cousins, whomever. I don't tolerate disrespect. And if I have to set healthy boundaries to protect my peace or, from people like that, I'm going to do that. And if I feel it's becoming a problem for me or anybody else, then I know, exit left, right? I don't let anybody from outside feel that they can have any kind of power on me, on my relationships or marriage or whatever. So I would encourage you guys to do the same. Don't allow people from outside. Again, let me just say, don't let your family ruin your family. So sometimes I sit, right? Sometimes I sit and I listen to, or I may have conversations with people, with grown-ups, right? And then you realize, like, even grown men, right? That kind of like trips me off sometimes. I listen to grown men and even some women, they confuse being sensual with sexual. And this, I'm going to keep it really short. It's just a lesson. Actually, it's not a lesson. It's something I want you guys to work on, especially the men. Something to work on for 2022. Make an effort to understand or to learn the difference between sensuality and sexuality. And I'm going to keep that real short. Learn the difference between sensuality and sexuality. So I know I've been bragging a lot about me in the last couple of minutes, but again, my podcast is about me. And that's what you guys like to hear, what's going on in Lorraine's life. But I also want to hear from you guys, what's been going on in your life. What good things has happened to you in 2021, and what are you looking forward to in 2022? I know I have a friend, she moved recently, I know she moved from Brooklyn to another part of New York, and she's been battling depression because she had an on-the-job injury. So I know she's been battling depression, and I speak to her from time to time and try to encourage her as best I could, but I know she's been dealing with that. I know she prays a lot. I know she has friends who pray for her a lot, but I would just pray that she worked through it. 2022 would be a much better year for her, because I know she's totally looking forward to that. Like, imagine she's not been able to work for over a year and she literally wants to work. But then I listen to some lazy people sometimes, like, they don't mind just staying home collecting those unemployment checks or, the free food thing or whatever it is they do, because I don't get any. So I don't know what it is, but she literally wants to work, and I admire that about her. And that's someone who has a legitimate injury, so I admire that about her. I still have friends out here who's, buying homes, buying houses. I have a friend who one time said she don't want a house, never want a house, will never get a house. And in the last couple of years, she's worked on cleaning up her credit, getting her finances together, and she bought a house last year, and she's happy, and I'm happy for her. So don't ever think that it can't happen for you. Like, if there's things out there that you wanted to accomplish in 2021 that you weren't able to because there were obstacles in your way, understand that these obstacles, you may not understand them right now, but eventually you will. But at the same time, don't let these obstacles keep you back from going after the bigger goal. So stick it out. In time, you understand why there were an obstacle in your way. But at the same time, if there's things that you want out of life, don't sit around waiting for someone else to put it on your plate for you. You go out there and get that. So with that said, Happy New Year again. I have a lot coming up in 2022. Sorry that I had an unscheduled break this year, but life happens, thing happens. So I hope you guys, sorry, I'm just like super nasal, but I don't have COVID. I did take a test and it's negative. It's just flu or whatever it is. So it's getting better. I had a terrible cough and stuff, so I'm 90% better than I've been. But whatever you guys do it because it makes you happy. Because it makes those around you happy. And if there's still things and people in and around your life that, again, not aligned with your growth journey, I encourage you to get rid of it. In the end, the picture that you'll see would be clear. Splash and Lorraine. This is the end of 2021. A lot more to come. It's my vision, my voice. We're talking about it.